Alright, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Waharakah, Kodash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honestly, brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I'm on the move right now, but brother sent through this video, and I just want to speak on it real quick because what you're gonna see is because of the economic situation what's going down, a lot of companies are facing a crunch, and you're gonna see a lot of companies try and put the squeeze on their employees, both old and current and new employees, to move towards the vaccination. And a lot of them are going to be doing it not because they're in on the agenda, but because they see it as a perceived marketing tool to get an edge over the competition. And just like this greedy pig here, the owner of Pimlico Plumbers here in London, you know, which the woman that was interviewing him, she caught onto that and started grilling him, because that's what he's doing right now is for filthy lucre's sake. So basically he wants to put pressure on his current employees to receive the vaccination, okay? And you know, he's gonna have, he might have a hard time doing that for now, unless government legislation backs him up. And then what he's gonna do is he's gonna make it difficult for new employees to sign up to the company without having the vaccination, okay? Which that's a lot easier to do. And you find that happens in companies when they want to make a big change. Like, you might, for instance, you might have a situation where they might be paying employees for a particular position 40k a year, and they might want them to take on new responsibilities for less money, you know, maybe because the business, you know, wants to go that direction. But because all the current employees they have a contract, they can't really do much. They have to do it voluntarily. So what they'll do is they'll basically try and find ways to make the old or current staff redundant, take the hit on the redundancy, and start bringing in new employees that are pretty much doing their role and more for less money, because they don't know no better. And you see that happen. So that's what you'll start happening, man. Like, all the desperate people that need the jobs, they'll be willing to take the vaccination. They'll rush them in. But what you're gonna see is, with these discriminations happening, the government is gonna have to rule on it. Employment law and health and safety law is gonna have to change, and these businesses are gonna welcome that, so they could more easily become, as he said it, COVID safe, which will make them more money, make them more competitive, as opposed to other companies that might not be so-called COVID safe. All right, and that goes, you see, that's the love of money right there. That's the 1 Timothy 6:10. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Yeah, because a lot of these companies are going to jump on board with the agenda for the sake of profit. Yeah, regardless of, you know, the dangers or whatever the case may be. They don't give a damn about that. What they care about is the bottom line. It says which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay, so the love of money is the root of all evil, man. And a lot of people are going to go along with this agenda and the agenda for the chip when it comes, because it's all part of the same game, for the love of money, man. And really, they're going to be enslaving themselves to the system, and they won't even realize it, because they're too greedy dogs. All right, so let me play this clip.
Legal. What are the lawyers telling you?
Yeah, well, we work in a HR department, and our lawyers are working together. We're going to adjust current contracts of our employees, stating that we would request or suggest that they have the vaccine, and we would recommend it. We're also saying that if and when
So
it
did you hear that? He said he's going to try and adjust the current contracts of his employees to suggest. See, he's being very careful with his language because he knows that basically with his current employees, unless the government make a change in the employment law, he can't force it on them. And they don't have to sign any new contracts. They could just say, no, I'm fine with the contract that I have. And there's nothing he could do about that. Okay, so we know that eventually the government's going to have to step in and make that change, all right, to forward the agenda. Let's keep going.
comes out and you can have it done privately, as a company, we're prepared to pay for it. We're not trying.
So they're willing to basically spend the money to get their current employees fast-tracked on the vaccination list, if it means that they can overall make a profit being more marketable as COVID safe. Okay, that's what it's about.
To jump the queue, but we're prepared to pay for it for all our employees. And if the choice is they don't want to have it done, then that's their choice. But you know, we're getting quite a good response from it, and we're already testing everybody that's in our building. We're carrying out regular tests ourselves, and that's working very well. And all new people that come on in the next couple of months, when hopefully the vaccine's rolled out a bit more, we're going to make sure that we don't take anybody on unless they've got the vaccine passport.
Okay, so you see there, so they're going to try and incentivize and pressurize their they're going to try and incentivize and pressurize the current staff as far as they can according to employment law to get that vaccination. But with the new staff who have to sign new contracts, they're going to put it in the contract. So this thing is moving forward, and like I said, eventually they'll be able to force their current employees, as long as the government institute that legislation. Because if the government don't, then pretty much their hands are tied.
On that note, Charlie, I was going to ask you, at the moment it's vulnerable groups that are being prioritised for the vaccine, so it could be months until your employees have access.
You are right there. I mean, a lot of our employees are more on the younger side, so you know we're nowhere near at the front of the queue. And obviously there's a lot of vulnerable people out there that need it doing before us, and we're all for that. But I do believe that, you know, we will start getting on top of it, but I believe it will be available privately soon, and thinking of the safety of our staff and the safety of our customers.
He ain't thinking about the safety of no staff and customers. He's thinking about the increased business that his company can receive by sticking COVID safe, Rona safe on the front of his website. That's what he's thinking about, because that's the new edge. The new edge is having your workforce that has to interact with the public be vaccinated, so that they're Rona safe, so called. Even though they've even said that you might not even be safe, but whatever.
You know, the quicker the better. And I'm just not prepared to employ anybody, you know, in a few months' time that hasn't had the vaccine. I'm being told that, you know, that could be difficult, it could be prejudices, it could be this, that.
Because even then, there's going to be people, if you discriminate against them based upon a vaccination through employment law, they could fight the case of discrimination. But this is where the government's going to have to come in. See, if there's enough calls for it and there's enough pressure, the government can actually change the legislation to make that exempt, so that won't be a form of discrimination. So the government can make it, they have the power to pass legislation to make it where this vaccination becomes mandatory for everyone, and therefore the businesses can do that. Do you see? And the same thing's going to happen with the mark. You see, the ones who truly have the power to make it where everyone has to take it is the government themselves, because all businesses have to operate within employment and health and safety law. Okay, so that's where it's going to come from, or ultimately that's where the mandate is going to come from.
But at the end of the day, It's the safety of our staff and the safety of our customers that's the priority thing at the moment.
On the flip side, though, Charlie, I mean, is promoting your company as COVID safe more also a bit about making some profit than also public health?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, you know, we're already geared up exceptionally.
So yeah, man. So we're in that time. Things are gonna start moving fast. You see that right now in the UK, the R rate is increasing, more strands, more this, more deaths. So they're building the pressure, they're increasing the crisis so that they could come with the solution. And the solution is a two-step solution, okay? Because there's going to be more than one crisis. The first solution is going to be the COVID pass, or the passports. Same thing with the collapse in the economy, the universal basic income. All these solutions are going to be put forward, but what is going to tie all these solutions together and allow them to implement it? The chip, right? The chip is the ultimate solution for all the crises, man. It allows for the system to regain control in a time of chaos, okay? And we've been telling you that these things that you see happening, the economic collapse, the lack of security, terrorism, at the end of the day, they're all going to lead towards this chip, because the chip can be utilized for security, it can be utilized for the buying and selling, it can be utilized for the medical system, health and safety, all of that. Yeah, let's get the book of Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2 and 3 say, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. The prophecy of the mark of the beast is fast being manifested, man. And like I said, all these things is like a precursor to that mark. Because if they can mandate you having that vaccine, then they can mandate that chip under the same auspices, all right, under the guise of solving a crisis or restoring order. All right, so let's get the prophecy, right? Revelations 13 verse 16, right? Now this is talking about the beast. Now who's the beast? Is his power structure, which begins with their governments and their military, and he causeth all. All right, so it's the beast that's going to cause all. How are they going to do that? Through their legislations. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to operate within this man's society without that mark, man. You're not going to be certified and identified as part of that system. And everything's moving fast. He heard it there. He said, look, a couple months. So that means behind the scenes, he's probably already been told that the government is moving towards backing your position. Okay? He's already there, you know, behind the scenes, he's probably been told, okay, you want to do this thing? Don't worry, a couple months, we'll make sure that the legislation goes through that will back you up, so that you don't get sued by your employees. Okay? So with that, I'm going to say shalom.